All right, welcome back to Mind and Magic, the first recording of 2026. And since the calendar has flipped digits, I think it's important to go over a few things that you can do to give yourself a head start in being successful with magic for the coming year. So let's get into it. Okay, welcome to 2026, everyone. We've made it. This channel is now 13 years old on YouTube. I mean, where does the time go, right? Now, since it's a new year, it doesn't seem quite right carrying on as normal. The beginning of any given year is really the best time to organize and get your plans straight for the coming year. And if you don't have a detailed plan, you should at least decide on a direction to head in so that you're still not in the same place next year. But more on that in a minute. The first thing you should really do is to clean your home and immediate area, whether it be your office, temple, what have you. Pick it up a bit. The very first law of magic is get your house in order, and it's number one for a reason. Well, many reasons. First off, it's said that the good and beneficial spirits do not like clutter or dirty environments. So if you have a dirty home, the good and beneficial spirits will refuse to enter. Secondly, you don't want to get possession constipation. Everything is a cycle, even bringing things into your home and things exiting your home. If you no longer have space for things to come in, and they won't. This can affect your finances as well. And to just start off the new year fresh. Now here in the States, it's winter, so some of the deeper cleaning may have to wait until spring, but one can still certainly vacuum the floors, pick things up or throw away things that you're not using anymore, etc. It's just a really good way to set a foundation for the year, to energetically wipe the slate clean, so to speak. New year, new start. I did quite a bit of cleaning this past weekend and still have a little bit more to do, but I did get a big jump on it. And it really makes a difference. I know it sounds mundane. I know it sounds trivial. Oh, pick up your room. Oh, clean the house. But it really is important. The energetic pattern that clutter and uncleanliness creates is that of poverty and problems. Think of any show you've ever watched, and when they want to show poverty, what do they show? A dirty, cluttered apartment with dishes piled in the sink and heaps of garbage everywhere, showing people who can't afford very much but yet have more crap in their house than anybody else. So understand first and foremost that you're not cleaning up just for the sake of cleanliness, although it feels very nice when your environment's clean. That's part of the energetic pattern of cleanliness. You're doing it for the energetic pattern. Because again, anytime you've seen a show when they want to portray wealth, yes, they show bigger houses, but more importantly, they show that the house is maintained and clean. And this is really the ground you want to start the new year off on. And before I forget, I want to say that part of that should be your windows. Make sure your windows are clean, because windows have a correspondence to opportunities. We've all heard of the window of opportunity. Break out a little Windex and a squeegee and get those windows clean. That can often be overlooked when just doing other cleaning. Now, after picking up a bit and getting everything nice and clean for a fresh start, the next thing that I highly recommend doing is to start planning, which, surprise, surprise, is one of the laws of magic. We want to plan out what we're wanting this year to be for ourselves. We need to go over our goals. Where do you want to be this time next year? 1 year from today, where do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to happen? And once you answer that for yourself, then you can start to answer what steps you need to take to get there. Once you really think about what it is that you want to achieve in 2026, which only you would know, right? We do a lot of work in like the top tier on Patreon and Subscribestar doing rituals every month. But those rituals are pretty general because they are meant for a larger group of people. But when it comes to individually specific things, you're the one that's going to have to do the magic for those. And the first step is determining what that is and planning them out in advance. And yes, I know that you can have an idea for your year and have it go completely off the rails in an entirely different direction. And without a plan in place, it can be quite difficult to get back on course. So I recommend doing at least 12 steps to get to where you want to be next year for your goals. That's one a month, one ritual per month. And it doesn't have to be a full ritual like we do in the Godform rituals on Patreon. You could just do a sigil. And I recommend this in manifesting reality, is doing sigils for your year ahead of time and then drawing out one per month once you've forgotten what they mean and activate those. And this way you're moving the ball down the field towards your goals. Just firing off a sigil a month. But each of those sigils is a step or something that needs to be fulfilled as part of a larger year-long goal. Now you may be thinking, well, why can't I just do my entire year goals in one shot? And perhaps you could do that. Perhaps it'd only take one sigil to accomplish everything that you want to accomplish, but then I would ask whether or not you think you're doing enough or just aiming too low. It's better to aim for the moon and miss and land on the mountaintop than it is to just aim for the treetops. For even though you went for the moon and missed, you still ended up higher than you would have. All right, that's probably not the best analogy, but I think you understand what I'm getting at. That's why we break the thing down into 12 steps so that it's not so monumental. We've just divided everything up into little chunks. This is what we call chunking down. All right, so that's your mystery school assignments. I don't hand those out often, but maybe I should. Clean and freshen up your home environment and then come up with your 2026 master plan. One overarching goal supported by 12 steps, which you will then sigilize and activate one per month. Now, make sure that you take a step of mundane action towards your goal as well each month. It's very important. A lot of people think that performing the magic is the only action they need to take. You might be able to get by with that sometimes, but you'll have a much better success rate when you start taking some action towards what you're doing your magic for. They don't even need to be big actions most times. It could just be small stuff. But taking an action is you putting the element of fire into the equation. You're getting things moving. Write the dates down on the calendar so that you don't forget. So when it's time for next month's step, you'll get notified and be like, oh yeah, it's time to fire off another sigil, which I'm going to assume that most of you do by now, and those who don't can easily look it up or pick up Manifesting Reality for all the references. Most of the sigil work that I do is in these batch groups where I just make a bunch at a time, put them away for a while, forget what they are, and then just choose one to fire off every month. I even have like special little envelopes that I put them in, which I show in the program. But you should be doing some sort of sigil magic practice within your larger practice, and one of the best things to use it for is moving step by step toward long-term goals, especially if those goals involve making internal changes of our programming. Remember, the most effective magic is directing changes within, and then the external must also follow. As above, so below, as within, so without. If you make internal changes, the external must follow suit. But yeah, I think this is the best way to start off the new year. That's what I'll be doing, and I wish you much success with yours. And I'll see you next time. Take care.